I can't wait to show you this chess set I won at the Moose Lodge charity auction, Jess. The pieces are carved from real marble.
It's nice that you were able to get something you like so much and help the Moose Lodge's favorite cause at the same time.
Why is it so quiet here? I thought for sure someone would be around. Wait a minute. What's that over there?
Oh my! Is that a person? It's Daniel Lane! What happened here? We should hurry over to the Lane household and break this terrible news to Maddie.
Isn't that right across the street? Lead the way.
Doctor? Jessica? Oh no, it's Daniel, isn't it? Is he all right?
I'm sorry, Mrs. Lane. He's dead. It looks like he was electrocuted.
Oh, God. Daniel. What happened? Was it an accident?
Maybe not.
I can't believe this.
Maddie, please sit down before you upset yourself more. We'll do everything we can to find out why this happened to Daniel.
What's the next course of action, Jess?
Well, I would like to see if I can discuss with an electrician the possibilities of murder by electrocution.
Oh, maybe you should speak to Rick at his store on the next street over. He was a good friend of Daniel's and might be able to help you.
My abacus is missing. My lucky abacus. I simply cannot get to work without it. That silly receptionist girl must have hid it, I'm sure of it. The nerve of her! I refuse to start work without it!
Well, who do we have here? What brings you here, Mrs. Fletcher?
Good afternoon, Rick. We have an odd question for you. How difficult would it be to kill someone by electrocution?
Aha! Is this for the plot of your next book?
I wish that it were. Daniel Lane was found electrocuted to death at Moose Lodge this morning, and Mrs. Fletcher has reason to think that it may have been done deliberately.
Oh, sorry to hear that. Well, it wouldn't be too difficult, really. Some tampered wire insulation, an improperly installed safety ground in the outlet, add in some water, and all you'd have to do is touch the exposed wire to be zapped.
Hey there, Jessica.
Hello, Vern. We were hoping to get information about Daniel from you, since you're a member of the lodge.
Daniel, such a shame about what happened to him, just after he was voted president, too. Now that he's gone, I'm the president of the lodge. I knew it had happened. I only wish it was under better circumstances.
I didn't know the Moose Lodge election happened so recently. What do you mean that it was eventually going to happen? Did you think that the presidential poll was unfair?
I took a rough poll before the election and disguised it using symbols. I'm pretty sure that the election was rigged so that Daniel would win.
Ah, Mrs. Fletcher. If you're here on your investigation, I'll let you know right now there's no way I'm letting you into my shop. You'll scare away my customers.
But as a member of Moose Lodge, you're a valuable lead.
I'm not a member anymore. I was kicked out weeks ago. Unless you need advice about various medications, I can't help you. Ah, where did you find that? It looks like something from my store. Very well then, come on inside. Well, go ahead. Ask whatever you like.
Well, did Daniel ever come to you for any sort of medications?
I'm a pharmacist. I sell quite a few medications every day. It's hard to keep track. I wouldn't be surprised if Daniel was self-medicating, though. He'd been on edge ever since a big argument with Rick, almost like he knew what was coming.
An argument? Was it about the rewiring work on the lodge?
Bingo. Daniel insisted on going with the lowest bidder to save money, and Rick wasn't the lowest bidder, so he picked another contractor. He said the lodge was short on cash, which is true. Just ask our accountant, Mr. Cotter, to let you have a look at our ledger, and you'll know why.
There it is. Splendid work, Miss Detective. Now I can get to work. You want to look at the Moose Lodge's accounting register? That's highly irregular, Doctor.
I'm afraid we need that financial information to look for clues regarding Daniel Lane's murder, Pearlie.
We could always just get the sheriff to ask the judge for a search warrant, Pearlie.
No, that won't be necessary. I'll show it to you later, when I'm not quite so busy.
I couldn't help but overhear you from the secretary's desk. I think I have what you need back at home, so come by and I'll show you.
So Maddie works here as a secretary, does she? We should definitely see what she wants to show us.
Oh, Jessica, something terrible has happened. Someone broke in while I was away.
Are you all right, Maddie? We should look around and see if the burglar took anything. But Maddie, before I investigate, I'd like to ask you something personal.
What is it that you need to know?
It seems you and Ted are very close. Is there anything going on between you two?
No, I mean, why would you think that? How dare you imply... What proof do you have? Where did you find that? Did you read them?
I happened to come across them by accident. How long have you and Ted been seeing each other?
I confess, Ted and I have been in a relationship since even before the divorce. He's always been a huge support, more than Daniel ever was. I suppose there's no hiding anything from you, is there? Go ahead and look around. Whoever broke in here went through all of Daniel's things, and they took the ledger with them. I was sure that a look through the numbers in there would make all doubts about the accounts of the lodge clear. And the final results of the poll were in there too.
Well, we all know who'd be interested in that now, don't we?
Some time ago, Daniel told me that the password to the lodge's safe is the same as the computer's password.
Oh dear. Hopefully the burglar doesn't know this information and break into the lodge as well. I'll take a note of this and investigate the lodge in a bit. There are quite a few tools used for electrical wiring here. We know who has the easiest access to those. Rick. If any of the things here can be traced back to him, then he's going to have a lot of explaining to do.
Ah, back again, are you?
Rick, only an electrician would have the know-how to stage a murder to look like an electrical accident. I think you knew that Daniel passed you over, even though you actually were the lowest bidder on the contract, and you killed him in revenge.
Do you have an alibi for the time Daniel was killed, Rick?
I'm afraid I don't, Jessica, but this is nonsense. I can tell you that none of this stuff came from my shop.
Well, that's a little hard to believe. We have some things we found at the crime scene that I believe we can trace back to you.
Go on and try.
Jessica, I didn't hear you come in. Can I help you?
I just wanted to know, Vern. Why did you break into Daniel and Maddie's home?
I didn't break into anyone's home. Do you have any proof of that? Okay, I was there. I was in a hurry. I wanted to get in and out before Maddie came home, and I didn't even notice that I'd cut my leg until later.
So you're the one who took the lodge's accounting ledger from Daniel's house.
Yes, but only by accident. I thought I had the lodge's official record book, where we note down the ballot counts from elections. I know it was stupid to take them, but I couldn't let go of the feeling that someone had tampered with the results. I had to find out if the election was rigged by Daniel or someone else.
If the sheriff hears of this, you might have to make a trip to his office.
I don't think we should jump to conclusions. Vern was only finding closure to the election's unexpected results. Before we do anything hasty, we should examine the ledger and see if there are any clues we can find.
I've told you, Doctor, I'm a busy man. Pearlie, we know that you've been embezzling money from Moose Lodge.
The numbers in this ledger prove it.
Me? Embezzle from my friends? These claims are uncalled for. There is no way you could have the ledger. Show it to me, because I don't believe either of you. Oh, fine, you got me. No, Daniel never knew. Well, I don't think he did.
Looks like I arrived just on time. Thanks for the tip, Jess. It sounds to me like you've got a pretty good motive for murder, Mr. Carter. You're gonna have to come with me. I'm holding you on charges of embezzlement and on suspicion of murder.
This is an outrage. Isn't a man allowed certain benefits in this field of work?
I'm sure we can have a long talk about your benefits, Mr. Carter, at the station. Jessica, I'll be escorting Mr. Carter to the office now. Come over there when you're ready. I think the boys have found something interesting.
Must I repeat myself, officer? I was with my grandchildren last night, having the most bland and tasteless dinner you can imagine.
Well, Mr. Carter, if your grandchildren aren't able to back your story up, you're in for a world of trouble.
Don't believe me, do you? You would if you'd tasted the soup. Just terrible.
Well, Jess, I think Mr. Carter's in the clear. He seems pretty confident about his alibi. The evidence is in the box on my desk, but I lost a piece of the lock when I dropped it by mistake. It's gotta be around here somewhere. Now that's a piece of the wire Daniel had in his hand. Our analysts found that the sediment on the wire is refined salt.
Salt? So the puddle that Daniel was lying in was not just ordinary water, but pure saline. I should ask Rick whether saline is a better conductor of electricity.
Here's the report that the team put together, Jess. Maybe it'll come in handy.
Rick, does saline conduct electricity better than fresh water?
Yes, it increases the conductivity exponentially.
Those bottles aren't mine. I got that icebox for repair a week ago, but I hadn't been able to open it.
Do you have the repair order with you? Who brought it over?
I misplaced the order in the clutter over here, I'm afraid. I don't see why I need to prove anything to you regarding these bottles anyway. And just what is this?
According to this report, Daniel Lane was found in a puddle of pure saline, and these bottles happen to have been filled with it. If you can't prove that this icebox isn't yours, I'm afraid that this serves as highly incriminating evidence against you.
I don't know whose these are. I guess I'll just turn myself in until things get sorted out.
I know I'm biased after being friends with Vern for all these years, but I really don't think he did it. I'm going to assume he's telling the truth, which means I have to find out who this icebox belonged to.
Find something of interest, Jessica?
What were you doing at the Lane residence, Rick? And why were you going through files on Daniel's computer?
What are you talking about? I've been right here all day. You can't prove that I wasn't. That's just a towel I used to wipe my hands clean during work. You can't prove anything with that.
I don't think so. When an intruder broke into Daniel and Maddie's house, he tipped over a pot of ink. Vern Gander admits that he broke in, but you must have been there too, and you wiped your inky fingers clean on this towel.
Fine. I was passing by and saw the broken window. No one was home, so I decided to go inside and look for anything that might explain why Daniel hired an outside contractor instead of me. See, these are printouts of emails from Daniel's computer.
Hello, Jessica. How's the investigation coming?
Sheriff Metzger's making progress. For instance, we now know why Daniel passed Rick Thibodeau over for the rewiring contract, even though he was the lowest bidder.
You do?
Yes, and we know who put Daniel up to it. You, Maddie.
Ridiculous. Do you have proof that I would do such a thing? These emails, how did you... Oh, well, Rick's work has always been substandard. It just made sense to pass that information on to Daniel. Ted just wanted what was best for the lodge, that's all.
At the expense of a fellow member, it would seem. Well, you'll be happy to know that we're very close to discovering the source of the saline found at the murder scene. This case will be wrapped up soon.
Really? That's impressive.
We're headed to the lodge ourselves now to take another sample of that saline. I'm sure it will lead us straight to the criminal. You won't be able to remove every last trace of salt residue from the floor, Ted.
Jessica. Sheriff Metzger. I was just looking for something I think I dropped over here during the charity auction.
Nice try, Ted. The saline we found in the icebox at Vern's was from your store. You stripped the wires and used the saline to make sure the shock Daniel Lane received was a fatal one.
You got me. I didn't want Daniel in the hospital. I wanted him dead. If anyone questioned whether it was more than just an accident, I thought both Vern and Rick would make lovely suspects. Everyone knew that Rick, our town electrician, was mad about not receiving the contract, and Vern spent so much time yammering about the conspiracy that made Daniel president of the lodge that it was almost too easy to drop my icebox at his place and lay the trail at his feet. I thought no one could trace it back to me.
And you did all of this so you could be with Maddie. Her divorce was nearly final. Why couldn't you wait a little longer?
Because if I had waited, she would have gotten only half of their joint property. Now Maddie inherits everything, and I get to enjoy it.
I can't believe you used me like this. That's it, Ted. We're finished.
You heard the lady, Ted. You're finished. Let's go.
Thanks for helping me out, Jessica. Again.
I'm glad everything worked out for the best. Pearlie's lawyer has indicated that he'd like to work out a way to pay back the money he embezzled.
Yeah, and that contractor Daniel hired walked off the job. So Rick gets to do the rewiring project after all.
The Moose Lodge has other kinds of rebuilding to do as well, but as the new president, I'm looking forward to the challenge.